All right. Good day, everyone. Thanks for the ones joining. I see there are a few people in the waiting room. We're admitting them as we speak, but we're not going to delay anything. We're going to start in the meanwhile. The session is recorded so that if there's anything you missed or you really want to go back to it, we will be loading it onto our YouTube channel as well. So I guess this is where I say welcome to the insurance webinar. The goal of this webinar is to give you guys a little bit more detail on, what is happening in the insurance industry, what it is that we look for when it comes to CVs, interviews, how to actually navigate your career as well. And then we're also going to chat a little bit about those technical things that we need in terms of fit and proper requirements. There's always some confusion with regards to who needs to have an RE5, who doesn't need to have an RE5, but not to worry because we're going to cover everything in this session. All right, so as you guys know, we are from Pro Talent Recruitment, and we have recently been voted the best insurance recruitment specialist in South Africa. And working alongside me is Nicola Jane Kutsia. She joined Pro Talent Recruitment in June. She comes with over 8 years of experience in insurance recruitment, and she is an absolute powerhouse when it comes to recruiting. She has, honestly, what she has achieved in such a short space of time is really, really remarkable. So without any delays, I'm going to hand over the floor to Nicola Jane Kutsia, and she's going to start off to tell you guys a little bit about the CV tips and, maximizing your job search. So over to you, Nicola.
Wow, what an introduction. Hello, everybody. I'm Nicola from Pro Talent. Obviously, I don't need to say anything more. Marizon has been amazing at that. So I first want to cover, I don't know if most of you are on the job market at the moment, but first we're going to cover what your CV should look like. So if you don't have a notebook and pen, I definitely suggest that you have that with you because I want you to take down as many notes as possible. Okay, so I've actually compiled a little mock CV, if I can call that. So I'm going to share my screen. Let me know if you can't see my screen, and then I will try and help. Okay. Just give me 2 seconds. Okay, so the first screen that I'm actually going to share is I want to show you where you can actually get some really, really nice templates. You're probably sitting in a position where, you want to make a really nice, appealing professional resume or CV, but where, how, and so I'm going to share. I'm sure some of you have heard about Canva. Canva's an amazing platform that you can use. They've got tons and tons of free templates on this platform that you can literally just edit. So I'm going to share. I'm going to show you what Canva looks like quickly. Let me know. Can you see my screen? Okay, I don't think anyone's. Okay.
Hi, we can see your screen.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so literally this is what Canva looks like. If you go to their home screen quickly, I'm just going to show you. When you open Canva, this is basically what it looks like. You can literally type in over here, resume or CV. I use resume. I just feel like it will bring up more professional templates. And scroll down. Whichever CV you think looks appealing to you, you literally can click on it and you edit it. You can see on this one more specifically, there's multiple pages. Really, really nice, easy to use tools and templates that you can use. Okay, so I'm going to take you to the CV now that I had created. Just to give you an idea, of what a CV should look like. And then we're going to go through that. Okay. So here is a CV of Nicola Kutsia. Because we are focusing on insurance today, you can see that this is an insurance CV. Okay, so it's pretty, it's appealing to the eye, and also pretty straight to the point and simple. So we're going to start off at the top. Really nice just to have your name. I always like CVs that, also have a little title in terms of what you specialize in. So senior claims administrator, that's what we're going with today. Maybe it's a broker, maybe you're a commercial broker, maybe not an insurance, maybe you're a sales manager, whatever the case may be. It's always nice just to put it underneath your name. Something candidates don't often do either is motivations. So I always personally love a motivation on a CV. For me, it's really nice to get to know you a little bit rather than just looking at a name. So here I put in a little motivation. Very simple. It doesn't have to be long at all. So literally, I'm a dedicated, professional, outgoing lady with an enthusiastic approach to life and the many opportunities therein. Also, a little bit about your experience will be great. So I've built my career within the financial services industry, as it's an industry I feel very strongly about. And after 10 years of experience, I can say that I've never worked a day in my life. Why? Because I wake up every morning passionate and full of purpose. I always give my best to improve the workplace that I'm in and constantly strive for ultimate success in all that I do. Literally, simple, to the point, love it. Okay, so this is always appealing to that, especially to potential employers, but also to a recruiter. Remember, your CV is it's a digital form of you as a person. So before I give you a call or before I even shortlist you for any of my positions, I want to get to know you a little bit better. So a motivation 100% is something that should be on your CV. So if it's not on your CV, make sure that you have put a motivation on your CV. Okay, what's also important is contact details, guys. You have no idea how many times we come across candidates and the cell phone number that's on the CV doesn't even exist, or they don't call, they don't answer the call, they don't return our calls. So make sure your contact details are correct and updated. If you've changed your number, make sure you put that on your CV. Okay, so here we've got contact information, you got your cell phone number, email. You can even put your WhatsApp number. Sometimes if your WhatsApp number is different to your calling number, you can even pop that on there. I'm one of those recruiters that do. If I can't get a hold of my candidates, I send them a WhatsApp. So it's always nice to put that there. Email address, your address. So you don't have to put your number 49, Kloof Road, Durban. I just like to put Sorry, can you mute yourself? Okay, so I just like to put Kloof, Durban. You really don't have to put your address. I know, obviously, for safety purposes. Date of birth, also really nice to have on a CV. And then, your mode of transport. So do you have your own vehicle? Have you got a driver's license? If you don't have your own vehicle, you also can say they're reliable public transport, or you have, a reliable lift club, whatever the case may be. Education, also extremely important to put on. So obviously, you matriculated, so you can put your school details there, and then whatever qualification or tertiary education you've done since you've completed matric, you can put that there as well. Now, because we're talking about more specifically within the insurance industry, obviously these are insurance related qualifications. So you can see that Nicola has done her class of business and personal lines, she's done a class of business and commercial lines, and then she's got her RE5. So these are obviously, Marizon will cover this, but these are qualifications related to the insurance sector. Okay, so let's go to career achievement and certification. So I want you guys also to take note of the layout of the CV. So you can see I've put career achievements and certifications before my experience. And that's because, it is really important. So obviously your experience is important, but so are your career achievements and certifications. Those are equally important to your experience. So take notes to also maybe just change the layout of your CV. And it could be anything, guys. Like, it doesn't necessarily mean that you got a certificate, let's say you didn't get a certificate, that you can't put it here. You'll see I've even added in 2018, I started a breast cancer fundraiser parade that is now being held annually to raise funds for hospice and cancer. So it literally could be anything. Maybe you work for a volunteer for a community center in your community that you are very passionate about. Put it in there. Here you can obviously see that, you got a certificate of achievement, top claims administrator of the year award. But then I've also put here, and especially relating to your career, if you've done something in your career that you feel is so important, like, for example, here, reduced fraudulent claims up to 15% through being really good at what you do, but also, just being really, really good at investigating. So you can put that there as well. I haven't put a company name and institution, so you can always, it's up to you. Then we go down to experience. Now, I also want to make mention here, your experience is very important as well. Obviously, you know, these two sections are equally important, but I want you to try and add in as much information as you possibly can under experience. So I always tell my candidates, you know, even if you did something that wasn't necessarily related to your job title or your position per se, add it in there. You know, if you were in short term, but you also helped in long term, for example, add it into your CV, because those are the type of things that we want to see. I might be recruiting for, you know, long-term claims administrator, and if I can see that you have been exposed to that, I could then market you to my clients. Okay. Another thing, so you can obviously see here, we've got the date, and I'm currently working there. Haven't put a company name, but obviously you'll put your company name there. And it's always nice to put where that company is based. So for instance, this company that I'm currently working at is based in Pinetown, Durban, and then your position. And these are your duties over here. Okay. Another very important thing that I want you guys to take note of is reasons for leaving. Okay, so reasons for leaving, there's so many. You know, we're all individual in our own way, and we have various reasons as to why we leave a specific company. You could have been retrenched, but I also want to make mention, guys, that don't just put retrenched. Put a reason as to why you were retrenched. Was the company closing down? Was it during COVID and they were restructuring? The company wasn't doing very well. You know, explain your reason. So here I've given this example for a reason, actually, reason for leaving. So retrenchment. We've been given a month's notice to secure permanent employment as the company is in the process of closing. Great, cool. Now I understand why you are being retrenched and why you're actually putting yourself on the job market. Okay. And then here I've also just got another little experience, but it's literally the same. The reason for leaving here. So again, don't just put resigned. Okay, well, why did you resign? You're never in a position where you're just going to resign. You'll be in a position to resign because of why. So I resigned. I was headhunted for a senior claims administrator position. I took this position because it offered me career growth and the opportunity to develop on my leadership skills. Great. I now understand why you then resigned and why you were looking for that growth that you were looking for. Okay. Skills, always very important to put on your CV. Here you can see, you know, computer literacy skills. I've listed those there. Even like just you as a person, so your personal attributes. So say you are creative and idea driven, you're passionate, you're well organized, detail orientated, a team player, a hard worker, you know, you have excellent time management skills. Those are very important to put on your CV because we want to see those skills. You know, specific positions will need specific skills. So if you've got those skills listed on your CV, I'm going to contact you. Okay, another thing more specifically to the insurance industry, please guys also make mention to list the insurers that you have worked with and the products that you've worked on. Very important, because we actually want to know, you know, what insurers you've worked with and also what products you've been exposed to. And then also leave a section for your references. Okay, obviously with references, you know, you can say that it will be supplied upon request because of the POPIA Act. So again, this is pretty much what a CV should look like. So that is what the layout of your CV should look like. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, but if you have any questions, save them for for later. Okay. So yeah, basically that gives you an idea of what a CV should look like. You know, what content should be covered on your CV. And also I want to say that I did mention it earlier as well, but you know, sometimes people think that your CV should just be basically a one-pager. I tend to disagree. Obviously, we don't want to go through pages and pages and pages and pages of CVs, but try and add as much information as you possibly can. That will also help you, you know, just to stand out from the candidate before you. Okay. Also, guys, remember your CV is your first impression. Okay, so when I receive your CV, And I first of all see it's not really professional. There's so many platforms out there where you are able to make a professional CV. And I see it's not very professional. You know, you haven't listed your contact details. Now, how do I even contact you? You know, you haven't stated where you're residing currently. So those are things are very, very important. And you know, it's your first step to actually getting yourself out there. You remember your CVB is now going to be uploaded onto LinkedIn. You can upload it onto PNet. You send it to recruitment agencies. So really take some time to put a lot of effort in your CV. Okay. So now we're going to do maximizing your job search. So now we've done CV. You've now put your CV together. Where to? Okay, like how do I get myself out there? I've now spent the time. I've put my CV together. What do I do with it? Okay, lots of ways. So I want to speak about as well your personal brand. So this is very important. And if you've watched any of Cindy Norcott's videos, she speaks about personal brand all the time. Your personal brand is very important, especially for, you know, the platforms like LinkedIn. Okay, so small things with developing your personal brand can be, you know, a profile picture. Make sure it looks professional. You know, maybe take the time to do your hair nicely, put some lipstick on, and take a beautiful photo and use that image for your LinkedIn profile. Another thing is as well, you'll see on LinkedIn is you've got cover pictures. So put together a nice little cover picture that you can use on your LinkedIn, your cover. Remember as well, LinkedIn is a digital format, or it's basically your CV and your career and your professionalism online. So as a recruiter, you know, I want to be able to go onto LinkedIn, find you on LinkedIn, and actually have a really, really good idea of where you've been, where your experience lies, and what you look like. You know, so make sure that your LinkedIn profile is up to date. Okay. Second thing is PNet. You know, recruiters are always posting listings on PNet. So make sure you have a profile on PNet, and make sure that you regularly checking the jobs that are going onto PNet. We also search a lot on PNet, so make sure that your profile is updated, that you don't have a CV that was done in 2018 sitting on PNet. You know, make sure that at least, I would say, maybe once a month or whatever the case may be. It depends on how active you are on the job market. But if you are actively on the job market, you should be on PNet quite often, you know, if not daily, to constantly check what positions have been uploaded. Okay, another thing, recruitment agencies. Why? Well, we're amazing, but also, you know, recruitment agencies, we especially if you are, you know, looking for a specialist industry to go into, you know, especially at Pro Talent, we are specialist recruiters. So if you are looking at going into the insurance industry, you know, to contact Nicola or Marizon, and we'll help you, you know, throughout the entire journey. I always say that looking for employment is a journey. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take some time. So connecting with a recruiter, you know, just letting us help you reformat your CV, give you some tips, some advice. Those are very important. You know, a lot of things that you don't necessarily know on your own. And then again, as well, guys, we have those really good relationships with our clients. So we know what they're looking for, and we'll know if that company is aligned with your career aspirations. So it's very important to go to a recruitment agency and find that recruiter that you connect with, especially from the industry that you are going into. Okay, so just a quick recap: personal brand, especially on LinkedIn, make sure that it's updated. Make sure that your experience is on there. The dates are correct. Make sure the dates that are on your LinkedIn page are literally the same dates that are on your CV. Okay, because yes, we look at that as well. Okay, so get your LinkedIn profile updated, make sure it looks professional, and be active on LinkedIn, and then obviously PNet, and then connecting with us. Okay, cool. I'm gonna give it back to Marizon now.
All right, thank you for that, Nicola. I'm sure everyone found that very valuable. And just to add on there, I mean, I totally agree with Nicola when she says, you know, a more detailed CV is a lot better than just a short one-pager. And I'll tell you guys a little bit of a secret. We don't say this to everyone, but when we as recruiters search for CVs, we search for like a specific keywords. Okay, so if you've left those keywords out of your CV, there's a big possibility that we might not even find your CV. So when I go onto PNet, obviously I've got my recruiter license, and if I'm looking for someone that's got a specific, you know, insurer experience, or has worked on a specific system, or, you know, has got, my client told me they must have this product knowledge, all right, I will go and I will search those keywords. And if you don't have that on your CV, I'm not even going to see your CV. So just, you know, in terms of that, try to keep it as detailed as possible. Yeah, and include all the duties that you possibly can. And when it comes to maximizing your job search, again, Nicola hit the nail on the head there. The LinkedIn profile is very important. And just also making sure that every platform where you're on has got the same information. We often find that then someone will send us a CV, and then we find their CV on PNet, and we find their CV on LinkedIn, and all three of them have got different dates from the employment on. That already is a major red flag to us. So I think for us, it's just important as well that, you know, everything must align. All right. So in terms of what I'm going to cover today, I always get like these boring topics, but I am going to do the fit and proper requirements, which is very important in the insurance industry. It is the most regulated industry from all the industries. Insurance is the most regulated. And quite surprisingly, in South Africa, it is highly regulated, even more than in other countries. Why? I don't know. Maybe because we have a lot of crime in our country. So, but with regard to the fit and proper requirements, I'm also going to share my screen. I made a little slideshow just to make it a little bit easier for everyone. So I'm about to share that with you guys. You just give me 2 seconds. Here we go. All right, so obviously Canva is an amazing platform that we can use for almost everything. Okay, so here we go. Fit and proper requirements. So there are 4 things that we're looking at when it comes to fit and proper requirements. One is your phase, then we've got your regulatory exams, we've got the class of business, and the CPD hours. Combined, you need to tick off every single one of those in order to be considered fit and proper in insurance. So looking at the first one, we're going to be looking at our phase credits. All right. So phase obviously stands for the financial advisory and intermediary service credits. And generally what we need is 120 credits. Okay. So the thing is, the compliance in South Africa are continuously changing. I think we all know that it has been a headache. All right. So before 2010, the system that they had was you need 120 credits, and you got your credits per subject or a course that you did. You didn't necessarily have to go do a full year qualification and have an NQF5 in short-term insurance or have a BCom degree or so. You could have done, let's say, just a module in insurance in personal lines that gave you 20 credits, and then you could do another module that gave you 20 credits in maybe personal lines, another subcategory in personal lines also. But combined, if over the years you've done your 120 credits, you would be considered fit and proper. Now, after 2010, this regulation has changed, okay? So if you weren't a first-time joiner in insurance prior to 2010, you're going to need to be doing a recognized qualification. And also, just keep in mind, if you weren't considered fit and proper, sorry, I just see some people in the waiting room here. I'm going to just quickly add them in. My bad. All right, they added in. So if you are, okay, after 2010, if you join the insurance industry, we need a full qualification, okay? This would mean it needs to be a recognized qualification. And this would often sound something like an NQF5 in short-term insurance. To get 120 credits, you need to do an NQF5 and higher. An NQF4 will only give you 60 credits, okay? That's not enough. You need to get 120 credits, so you got to do at least an NQF5 or higher, and something that is related to insurance qualifications. Now, there are lots of places where you can do these qualifications. I mean, Moonstone has got a lot of qualifications that you can do there and that you can choose from. There are Millpark as well. You can go look at GIFTS. Also, another institution. There is, I see Masted also offering now a few of these qualifications. And also, in generally, if you've got a BCom degree, you would have the credits. Not all the degrees gives you the insurance credits because it needs to. Oh, someone is not muted. If you can just mute yourself. Yeah. So obviously just making sure that your qualification is a registered qualification. Then looking at our regulatory exams. Okay, so there are 4 different regulatory exams that you get. Sorry, just to add on, with the phase credits, you get a total of 6 years to complete your phase credits. Okay, so from the date you started in insurance, you need to complete your qualification within 6 years. If you don't complete your qualification within 6 years, your DOFA, date of first appointment, which we will get to at a later stage, is going to expire, which means you're going to have to stop working in the insurance industry, complete the qualification first, and only then would you be able to enter the insurance industry again. Now, with the regulatory exams, they're a little bit more strict here. You got to do this, like if you got to do this within 2 years, all right? So the most one that we all know is the RE5, which is for representatives, and that is for in all of the categories. The RE1 is specifically for key individuals, all right? And the RE3 and RE4 is also specifically for key individuals, but in the different categories. The RE3 will only apply to category 2 and category 2A, where the RE4 applies only to people working in category 3, all right? So looking here, I get a lot of people that get confused between what is an RE1 and an RE5. I will often get on the CV that someone will tell me I've got my RE1. When I look at the certificate, it's not an RE1, it's an RE5. Now, the confusion also comes in. Prior to 2012, there only was one regulatory exam, which was the RE1. But after 2012, they've introduced the RE1 for the key individuals. All right. So what we known prior to 2012 as the RE1 is actually now the RE5. Okay, and the RE1 is the new one implemented after 2012 for key individuals specifically. So the way to see the difference here is by actually just looking at your certificate. As you can see, the one that I've got here on my left-hand screen, this one says first level regulatory examination, and it says here specific key individuals, all right? When it says key individuals, you know that is your RE1, okay? When it says the regulatory examination is for representatives, that is how we know it is for your RE5. All right. So hopefully this will clear out some of the confusion there. I just wanted to show you as well here, as you can see, Moonstone, here are some of the qualifications that you can do. They've got some really nice qualifications on here. You can also do your RE5 through them. I also did my RE5. And when it comes to the RE5, guys, it doesn't have to be an expensive thing, okay? If you want to do your RE5, literally all you have to do is book the exam, contact us. We've got some free study material. This year, January, I decided to do my RE5, and I used the material that I've got, and I managed to pass it the first time around. So if you are looking for study materials, don't go and pay 5,000 Rand for a study pack. Please just contact us. I will email you everything that I used when I did my RE5. And then the only thing you got to pay for, Lily, is going to be your exam. Then if you want to know the different categories, I've told you they you get the different REs for the different categories. So yeah, if you follow this link, remember that the session is recorded, so you can get this link after recording again. This is where you can look at all the different categories there are and what falls under those different categories. So if you just wanted to get some more information on that. Right. Oh, and we also got a wheel of names going on here. I've added everyone's names here. So at the end of the session, we're going to do a little lucky draw, and the winner will get a Pro Talent hamper. Right. So going back to our our fit and proper requirements. Okay, that's the link for the insurance categories. I'll leave it on you for about 5 seconds, or if you just quickly want to take a photo or a screenshot, you're welcome to do so. Right, moving on. Okay, so class of business. So this is now a new thing again that was implemented in 2018. So I know this can get like really confusing because it just constantly changes all the time. But when it comes to class of businesses, we have got 9 different class of business. And think about this almost as like a category, like a department, all right? So we've got our short-term personal lines class of business, we got our short-term commercial lines, we got long-term insurance, investments, Forex investments, then we've got our pension funds, our deposits, and then obviously our health services benefits, all right? So how this class of business was introduced in 2018, and it's a new sort of thing, sort of like a certification that you need to do. I don't know how many of you have done a class of business already, but it's not very expensive. So if you are, let's say, but the class of business also only applies if you haven't been working in that industry as a representative prior to 2018. Okay, so again, let's say you worked in, for an example, if you worked in commercial lines before 2018, so 2017, you're fully fit and proper, you had your qualifications, you've got your RE5, you're updated with your CPD hours, you're working in your commercial lines. You don't have to do the class of business in the commercial lines, because prior to 2018, you were considered fit and proper in short-term commercial lines. But let's say now, actually 2019, you decided, I want to switch over to personal lines. Then you would have had to do the personal lines class of business. So you get a total of 12 months to complete your class of business once you started working in that specific department or category. So yeah, I know this can get a little bit of confusing, but the class of business is also very important to do. And you know what looks really well on a CV is when I see those people who's done almost like all of the class of businesses, I'm so impressed, because it's not a very difficult thing to do. It's basically just a short course. Try to do as many class of business as you can. You're just opening up a lot of doors for yourself. And when you start looking at other industries and wanting to diversify your experience, having that class of business is already going to help in that matter. But Nicola will also be talking about the importance of diversifying your experience. Then we've got the CPD hours, all right? So the CPD hours, this is for regulatory. This is also so you can stay up to date with the regulations. This is also to make sure that you understand the ethics, you've got the technical skills and the abilities to do the job that you are doing. In total, in South Africa, the cycle runs from the 1st of June until the 31st of May. So you have to do at least 12 hours of CPD hours. But here's the catch, if you are working in more than one class of business, so let's say you're handling the personal lines and the commercial lines book, then you got to do 18 hours. All right. So if you're only working in one class of business, you need to do 12 hours. If you're working in more than one class of business, you got to do 18 hours of CPD every month. Now, every year, starting from the 1st of June, ending at the 31st of June. All right. Then going over to the DOFA, I don't know if who of you guys know about the DOFA report. It's called the date of first appointment. Right, so I just want to stop sharing my screen here. Oh, I want to take you over to the DOFA website. So in order to pull your DOFA report, and I'll show you guys what it looks like now in just a minute. If you go onto this website, the APCA website, right? You go down here, you can just follow this link. You go to your individual dashboard. And this is where you're going to register. Obviously, I'm not going to register because I don't work for a brokerage. But here you can go with you register with your ID number, and you're creating a password for yourself, and then you can download your DOFA report here, and you can also download. Let's say you lost your RE certificate, you can also go and download your RE certificate here again. So yeah, very, very useful. And when you apply in insurance positions, it's so nice to attach your DOFA as well, because the DOFA gives us so much information, and I'm going to show you guys just now how it looks like. Right. So yeah, we will be doing questions right at the end of the session. I actually see a lot of my candidates over here. Welcome everyone. Just give me 2 minutes. I'm going to show you this one now. I just want to hide the candidate's details, whose DOFA this actually is. going down. Alrighty, so I'm going to show you an example of a DOFA that we've received, and then you'll also understand why this is important. So remember, when you start to do your qualification and you start in the insurance industry, you get 6 years to complete your qualification that will give you your face credits, and you've got 2 years to complete your RE5. And then you get 12 months to complete your DOFA, or not your DOFA, your class of business. All right, so here we go. This is how a DOFA looks. I don't know how many of you guys have ever seen a DOFA here. I just want to move this. There we go. Okay. So looking at a DOFA, it tells you here your date of first appointment and in which class of business. So, and it also will show every single employee when you were registered, whether you were giving advice, whether you were giving intermediary services, whether you worked under supervision. So here I can see this guy. He started in the insurance industry. His first date of first appointment for short-term personal lines was in June 2011. Okay. It was also, so obviously he did quite a variety of things, because he did not just worked in the short-term insurance personal lines, he also worked in long-term insurance, short-term and long-term deposits, as well as investments. Now, if I go down here, I'm going to see a little bit more detail. This will give me exactly every product and category he's worked in, and whether he worked under intermediary service or services under supervision. These dates that I see here, this is the first time he was registered in that category. So you'll see, obviously, the company he worked for in 2011, he worked in a lot of categories, all right? Then in 2018, he obviously joined another company where he was exposed to other industries as well. This is now where he got into the category B2A, B1A, and the short-term insurance personal lines A1. So remember, again, if you're unsure about the category, there is that link where you can go and have a look at the categories. And also, if you've done your RE5, you would be quite familiar with the categories. So I hope most of you guys have already done your RE5 or are busy studying towards your RE5. Now, going down here, now this is also very nice, and us as recruiters actually look at this, all right? And we will cross-reference these dates of what we see on your CV. So here I can see, so this guy worked at Old Mutual Life Insurance. This was all the financial products he was working with. He was a representative, and some he was advice, others it was just an intermediary service, and others it was just a service under supervision. So in this case, with short-term personal lines, he did all three of those. And yeah, I can see he started working at this company in 2011. He left this company in 2012. So if your CV is going to tell me something different, I'm going to question that. So again, make sure it aligns. Now here, if we go down to Momentum. Same story. It shows me exactly when, the date he started, and the date it was terminated. Right. And like that goes through for every single company he's worked for. It's not necessarily in chronological order. I think it is just in alphabetical order, if I'm not mistaken, not even. So yeah, that is basically how a DOFA looks. Yeah, so if there's any questions with regards to the DOFA, we'll chat about it at the end as well. But yeah, also important, it's very nice when you send your DOFA through when you're applying for jobs, because it does give us a lot more information. If you don't have a DOFA and you're trying to pull your DOFA and you can't pull your DOFA, it often happens that the company you're working for did not register you, all right? Now, as much as that is actually illegal in the insurance industry, it happens far more often than you can imagine, especially if you're working for like a smaller brokerage. And a lot of the insurers as well is guilty to this. I can't tell you how many people I've seen that works at insurers who has not been registered as a DOFA. So, I mean, if you work in a company currently, you can ask them, did they register you with the FSCA? If they did not, you probably, that information won't reflect on the DOFA. And obviously, we as recruiters will understand that, especially us who works in insurance recruitment, we are very familiar with the process and the regulations and things. Yeah, but that is me again in a nutshell. So just again to recap. Face credits, prior to 2010, the credits was fine. After 2010, we need a recognized qualification. You get 6 years to complete it from your date of first appointment. RE5, RE1. RE1 is for key individuals, RE5 is for your representatives, and you get 2 years to complete that. Now, again, if you're working in a brokerage, even if you're working in claims, you need to have your RE5. If you're working for an insurer, it's a bit different. They're not as strict, so you won't necessarily need your RE5 there. If you then, obviously the class of business, we understand now, prior to 2018, there wasn't such a thing as a class of business, but now it has been introduced. So if you were not fit and proper in a specific class of business prior to 2018, you need to do that class of business in order to work there, and you get 12 months to complete that. Then the last one is the CPG hours. If you're working in one class of business, 12 hours. If you're working in more than one class of business, you need 18 hours. The cycle runs from June to May. Right. And then I'm going to hand the floor over to Nicola to handle the fit and proper requirements. Oh, not the fit and proper requirements, my bad. The navigating your career.
I was like, whoa. Shame. Thank you so much, Marizon. That was very, very informative. And again, guys, I hope that you're taking down lots and lots and lots of notes. And yeah, that was very insightful. Okay, cool. So now I'm going to cover navigating your career in the insurance industry. So obviously, Marizon has now given us a really, really in-depth, in terms of what is required for you to actually be in the insurance industry. And now, you've got all your qualifications, your CV's done, you've got your personal branding out there. Where to? Okay. So firstly, I want to also really, really highlight this, especially within the insurance industry, the importance of diversifying your experience. Okay, so diversifying your experience within the industry, it's very important. It's one of the most important notes that I want you to also take down today. So this will allow you to keep up with the ever-changing industry. The insurance industry, like Marizon said, changes all the time. Regulations change, all the time. So it's very, very important that you allow your experience to adapt to those changes. Okay, so this, just by diversifying your experience will allow you to be more versatile, and ultimately it will allow you to be a more valuable professional to the company or brokerage or insurer that you work in. Okay, it not only enhances your skills and adaptability, but also provides a safety net in a constantly evolving industry. It will provide you with the growth opportunities that you're looking for, especially within a brokerage. There's always going to be diverse opportunities. There's going to be opportunities in short term. There's going to be opportunities in long term. So it's always important to be diverse in your experience. Okay, so basically I have put together, different points on how this can benefit your career. And key number one, it broadens your skill set. So working in different roles and areas of the insurance industry can help you develop a wider range of skills. So for example, you get sales, marketing skills, you'll develop underwriting expertise, claims processing knowledge, risk management abilities, and all of these roles play such important roles, especially in the insurance sector. Okay, so gaining experience in these diverse areas can make you a more well-rounded individual, and you'll be a huge benefit to any company within the insurance sector. Okay, adaptability. So the insurance industry is subject to ongoing changes, like we know. We've been singing the song the whole webinar. So obviously, due to these advancements, it's really important that you can adapt to any change within the insurance industry, within the company that you are working for. It allows you to also pivot and thrive within a dynamic environment. So having that adaptability and having that exposure to different areas within insurance obviously will be hugely beneficial to you. Problem-solving capabilities, guys. So different roles within the insurance industry present distinct challenges. Okay, so exposure to various aspects of the field will improve your problem-solving skills. This will enable you to approach complex issues from different angles and find creative solutions, again, takes you back to being a more valuable asset to that company that you're working at. A better understanding of the industry. So diversifying your experience will also give you a much better understanding of the industry, especially with all the changes that the insurance industry, is prone to. So a diverse experience will help you gain deeper understanding of how the insurance industry functions as a whole. And this will be particularly beneficial if you aspire to take on a leadership role, which we'll get to that. But obviously, if that is your goal, and if you're one of those that just, the sky's the limit and you want to ultimately grow your career into more of a management or leadership role, definitely look at diversifying your experience now. Okay. Networking opportunities. So I'm not sure, some of you might be employed already. Some of you might, be in a whole different industry, but insurance is where you're wanting to get into. So diversifying your experience will allow you to also have better network opportunities. Okay, so working in different roles and areas of the insurance industry, this will allow you to build a broader professional network. Again, back to LinkedIn. LinkedIn is your professional network, your digital network. So, just diversifying yourself within the different, categories within insurance, will actually allow you to build a broader professional network. This network can be very valuable. It can be a valuable resource for career advancements, sharing knowledge, and staying updated on industry trends. I think that's also important. Okay? Risk mitigation. So obviously we know as well, guys, insurance is all about managing risk. Okay. And diversifying your experience can help you mitigate career risk. Now, I'm sure most of us have been in positions where we've been retrenched. Okay. So if you have experience in so many different categories in the insurance sector, you're more likely then to secure a position somewhere else. Okay. So mitigates career risk. If one area of the insurance industry experiences a downturn or, job markets fluctuations, having experience in other areas can provide you with alternative opportunities. Personal development, also super, super important. I'm one of those that, I always tell my candidates to ensure that you are upskilling yourself no matter what. So we'll get back to that as well, because I have a section that I want to speak about on personal development. But, doing this to diversify your experience, it gives you a variety in your career. And that can lead to personal growth and job satisfaction. I'm sure many of us have been in positions where we're feeling a bit stagnant. You're sitting on a Sunday morning and you're like, oh gosh, it's the worst feeling ever. And, you never want to be in that position. So explore different roles within the industry. And that can definitely help you discover where your true interests and strengths are. You might be sitting as a claims administrator, but actually, deep down inside, you've got a burning passion for being on the road and interacting with clients. Maybe you should be a commercial broker. You never know. So just make sure that you are, doing that personal development to also find where your passion is. Okay. And this will then allow you to pursue a more fulfilling career path within that specific category that you feel passionate about. Okay, then moving between job functions and industries. So here, I also want to make mention that, this applies, obviously, I've tried to make it to apply specifically to the insurance industry, but a lot of the things I'm going to say also applies to different industries. So I want to first start off by saying that, you need to, when you are wanting to move between a job function or, even industries, the first thing you need to kind of come to terms with is you may have to take a salary knock. So for example, you might be in short-term insurance at the moment, but you actually, you kind of feel like long-term is where you want it to go. That's kind of where your that burning passion is, and you want to build a career within long-term. You need to understand that you don't have any experience in long-term. You might not even have the qualifications in long-term. So come to terms with the fact that you might have to take a bit of a salary knock. But it's not forever. Sometimes we've got to kind of take that risk in life, especially when you've got your eye on the prize, and you know where you're wanting to go in terms of your career. So it's not possible, these moves can be done within the insurance space. In fact, I always tell my candidates to really try and diversify, their skills, especially within the insurance industry. So it's not impossible, and 100% can be done. But again, just really take note that you may have to take a salary knock, and also, it's going to take hard work. Rome wasn't built in a day either. Okay, so I always also like to tell my candidates that, diversifying your experience and also just upskilling yourself, has it ever been a bad thing to know so much? It really hasn't, and it will only be beneficial to you within your career. So how, you've now identified that you want to go into long-term insurance. How do I do that? So I'm going to use an example. You're now in short-term, you want to go into long-term. So obviously we understand we're going to take a salary cut, but also, guys, like Marizanne has covered, there's so many different qualifications and so many different things that you need to do in order to get there. So you could start, looking at those different qualifications, maybe doing your class of businesses in that specific category. Maybe you've got an NQF 5 in short-term insurance. Maybe do your NQF in long term. So that would also open up so many more opportunities for you to get into the long-term insurance space. I also want to say, guys, that, especially in the insurance industry, if you are working very closely with someone that is handling long-term insurance, sit next to them, ask them questions, upskill yourself, and if you need to, maybe in the evenings, go home and, train yourself and do extra work just to kind of, invest in your career. 100% do that, because it will only benefit you, in a couple of months, or maybe in a year's time, or whatever the case may be. Okay. How to be considered for promotion? I get that all the time. Obviously, a big reason for wanting to leave your current employer is growth. We're all looking for growth opportunities at the end of the day. And, I think a lot of candidates and a lot of people in general do have different definitions of growth. So you need to identify that, as yourself. What does growth mean to you? But especially in the insurance industry, to be considered for a promotion, it really boils down to hard work and commitment. So your attitude and work ethic will determine whether you would be considered for a promotion or not. Put your hand up. Ask for more responsibility. Show your passion and dedication to your position and your career. I promise you, it won't go unnoticed. If a company sees that you are committed, you're invested, and you're passionate about building your career, you're constantly asking for more responsibilities, you're asking the questions, they will 100% give you that promotion. Okay. Also, guys, if you are working in a smaller brokerage at the moment, and the current manager is not going anywhere, and you feel like you really you've got this burning desire to step into that management position, make that lateral move to a bigger company. There will be more growth opportunities, but again, you're gonna possibly have to start off from the beginning and build yourself again. Prove yourself to that company that you are worth it. Ask questions, show them that you're committed, that you're passionate, about your career, but also about their company. So it really happens that you'll get into a management position with no management experience. Okay, especially if you're working in a smaller brokerage now and a management position, became available, it's very unlikely that you can then apply for that management position and they will give you the position. So that's why we say, go maybe look at getting into a bigger company where there could be more growth opportunities, and then you prove yourself and you work your way up to that management position that you are wanting to get into. Okay, so the importance of continuous development, this is very important. So obviously Marizanne has covered, the CPD and all of that kind of stuff, but I want to share with you why it is so important, to continuously develop on yourself and your career. So basically, when we're looking for candidates, especially within the insurance industry, we're looking for exceptional. So you need to be the exceptional. You need to make sure that you're always developing yourself. I've come across some candidates, that have been unemployed for whatever reason. They've been retrenched and they're sitting at home. Do you know that some of these candidates, instead of just sitting at home and just expecting money to fall from the sky, they've actually there's free online courses on LinkedIn. There's, affordable courses on Udemy and stuff like that. And maybe they haven't necessarily done courses that are affiliated with their career, but small things, maybe like customer service courses, on how to be, because in most positions you are exposed to customer service. So it's very important just to continuously upskill yourself again and put that on your CV. Okay, so not only is continuous development going to show you as an individual that you are committed to your career, but it also shows your current employer that you are capable of so much more. Again, you are a valuable asset to them. Okay, so you invested in your career. A lot of people say, I'm looking for growth, I'm looking for growth, I'm looking for growth. But if you continuously invest in yourself, that kind of shows that you are true to yourself and you 100% want growth. A lot of people say that they want growth, but they're not doing anything about it. So the fact that you invest in yourself will prove to your employer that you do want that growth that you keep on asking for. Okay, and you're not just talking the talk. So especially within the insurance space, employers want to see your investment. Okay, your investment in your career will show them how invested you are in their company. Again, specifically in insurance, but this advice could also work in any other industry. Okay, if an employer can see that you are invested in your career, 9 out of 10 times you invested in their company as well. Okay, so that's pretty much what I want to share with you guys today, with continuous development. I also want to make mention that there are, guys, maybe after this webinar, just do yourself a favor, go onto LinkedIn and go and have a look at how many free online courses there are. YouTube is amazing. Yes, maybe they're not recognized courses, but you are developing yourself. If there's something you don't know, we've got so many tools nowadays that can actually allow you to develop yourself. If there's a specific part of insurance that you don't know too much about, go on those links that Marizon has shared with us, and definitely, guys, go and develop yourself. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks for that, Nicola. That was, again, absolutely wonderful. And I think just understanding, how to navigate your career, and I think it's one of the things that can be so demotivating is when you're trying everything in your power, you're applying for every single job, but you're not getting anywhere. Realizing that you're stagnant in your job, there's no way to move up from here. Like, what do I do now? So thank you so much for that valuable information. I've been looking at the chat group here. There's so many questions that has come through. I have been answering them as Nicola was speaking. There are a few that I would like to highlight because that I think that everyone has been struggling with. And the one was saying that they are struggling to find a job. They've got the RE5 and they've got the class of business, but still struggling to find a job. So there could be multiple reasons for that. I think one is going back to the CV. It's the first step of the process. All right, so make sure your CV is the way that Nicola has explained it. You've got detailed reasons for leaving. What often can happen is we look at a candidate and we see 6 months employment here, 1 year there, 5 months there, and then 3 months there, and we're not understanding why. So we immediately thinking this person is a job hopper. There's a problem in every company. They're not loyal. They go for the next best opportunity they can find, or there's a problem with the candidate. The companies let them go all the time. So we don't know why you are leaving the company unless you give us the reason why that is happening. There's a whole other webinar as well that we did. It's tips for job seekers. It is on our YouTube channel. Please go through that. I think a lot of the questions that you guys have can be answered as well in that webinar. And it's one of the hardest things that you're going to have to do, because you're going to have to sit back and reflect and be like, which of these things am I doing wrong? and then you got to go and actually rectify them. So often there's very good reasons for why you left employment. It was a temporary position, or the temporary position was because it was a maternity fill. There was no way I could go permanent after that. Or actually I was retrenched due to COVID. Our whole department closed down. That's why. Or there could be really good reasons why it's happening. So just make sure you're communicating that clearly, because that is always one of the biggest reasons why candidates don't go through with the process. And then I also had one candidate saying, they don't really have much experience in the insurance industry. A lot of the vacancies require you to have experience. What do you do then? So again, what I just want to say there is there are a few skill sets in insurance that we're looking for. All right. So I've got quite a few companies that actually prefer me sending them junior candidates that's got no experience, and purely so that they can teach them the way they want it. Some of these companies have got their own systems and processes, so then they don't want someone with 15 years of experience who's going to walk in and try to tell them how to do their job. They've got a process. So some of them do prefer junior candidates, but there are things we're going to look at every single interaction. Okay, that call we give you, the screening call, how do you answer it? How does your email communication look with us? How are you applying for this job? Are you just forwarding the same email you forwarded to 5 other recruiters before? Because honestly, when I get those kind of CVs, I put them in a folder. I don't even open it. If you can't take the time to write me a personalized message, hi Marizon, please find attached my CV. I'm applying for this position that you advertise on Facebook or LinkedIn. The reason I feel like I'm good for this position is because I have this and this skill set. Now, if you have no experience, it's very hard to prove that you've got those skill set. There's lots of LinkedIn learning, Google learning courses and things that you can do to prove that you've got the skill set. We are looking for communication skills. All right. I think if any one of you work in insurance, you will know there are 3 skills that you must have. One is you got to have great written communication skills. You got to have great verbal communication skills, and you got to have an analytical ability. So do the type of things that's going to showcase those type of skill set. If you can show them, I've got these skills, I'm working on these qualifications, I promise you will have a shot. What else do we have here? There's quite a few messages coming through. I think, is there anyone that I missed? You can unmute yourself and just, pop your question. All right, so I think if that is the wrap up, I'm going to share my screen and we're going to go do the spin the wheel. So the person will win a Pro Talent Handbook. It's quite exciting. Included is also a specialized career guidance session with either me or Nicola. You can choose which one you like the most. I promise you won't take offense. And yeah, so here we go. Let's go to the screening session and we're going to see who is the lucky person today. What I've done is I've only put the names down of whatever your name was on the Zoom. So some will say Hawaii P40 Live. If this is you, just obviously raise your hand, and you obviously have got our email addresses. Please pop us an email with your address and your details so we can arrange to get the gift courier to you, and we can also arrange for the guidance session. I think I called it Righty, so who was that? All right, I'm not sure who that person is, but Hawaii P40 Light, would you please send us an email? It is in the chat. My email is marizon@proapoint.co.za. Nicola is also nicola@proapoint.co.za. But if you've missed that, you can find our emails on our website as well. Thank you guys so much for joining.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you, Tembeka.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you for joining and for listening. I hope you took down lots of notes.
Yes, we did.
Good.
Bye.
Don't worry, it's going to be loaded onto YouTube.